Hey guys, what's going on? Austin Distel here with the Entrepreneur Alliance. Today, I have Mike Cahill here, where we're going to be talking about the number one strategy for email marketing, the thing that has gotten him proven results, where you can implement this strategy as well. And so today, we're going to be going into 3 pillars of cold email marketing and a lot of cool stuff that's happening with this, and also how you can apply it. So basically, I'm going to give up the floor here to Mike and let him share his story a little bit. I know that you have a lot of experience, not only in email marketing, but SEO as well, which is where you first applied this awesome strategy. And then from there on, you've now gone on to create courses on this, and you're helping consult with other SEOers and even other industries on how they can use this strategy. So, Mike, tell us your story, man. How'd you get involved with all of this?
Yeah, man. My first kind of contact with cold email was back in 2013 when I enrolled in the foundation for the first time. Also, my first contact with entrepreneurship, just kind of in general. And was there part of the process with the foundation is you're supposed to talk to other businesses and kind of find their pain points. So I was trying to do a solar thing, and I don't know anybody who works in solar. So I was just figured I was just going to email people. So I got sick of doing it by hand after about a week. And then I decided, let me try to find a way to scale this so that I don't have to spend, 20 hours of my week literally writing an email over and over again. And that's how I kind of got started with automating cold emails and prospecting in a sense. Not that I was selling anything at this time, but that's really where I got started with cold email. And moving fast forward to about last summer, I'm doing the SEO thing. Anybody who came up through 6K probably knows me from there or has heard of me. And it's, I had a lot of referrals, I had a lot of business coming in like that, but didn't have too much business on my own end. So I decided I was going to try to, find other ways to get clients and, knocking on doors, going to meetups and stuff. And some of you guys probably know Rob Pena. I really hope I'm doing his last name right. But he's awesome dude, super does amazing things with cold outreach. And I saw him talking in the local client takeover group. I was like, oh, dude. Yeah, I forgot cold email. I forgot about this. It's such a cool way to get clients. And so I devoured all the stuff that he had out there. And I kind of took some of his system and applied it to what I was doing. And it's kind of just, evolved into something pretty much totally different that I use now to get SEO clients. This also works so well for Facebook ads clients. I know Facebook ads is like the hot thing right now. It's so hot you can't even touch it. Everybody wants it. And you can use this to really sell any sort of consulting digital marketing service, or even other things. I've had a couple of businesses actually come to me and help them get cold email set up doing other things. And they're as if I was providing them a service versus actually prospecting them for something else. So it's kind of cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so I remember I also started in 6K Success, and I remember kind of seeing a lot of your testimonials inspire me to go out there and take action. And this is in the days of, LinkedIn prospecting was huge.
Yeah.
That was
15.
I know, man. That was our main strategy, right?
Yeah. That was
and, now that LinkedIn has kind of cracked down on some of the autoresponders, it's still possible to a way. But, I think that cold email marketing is going to stay for a long time. You can look at the trends. Open rates might have gone down a little bit over time, but it's still, everybody has an email. Nobody's cracking down on it too hard. Google still wants it to be used for business. I think that it is such a strong tool that anybody can use. So I'm excited to learn from you, man. This is going to be a good training.
Yeah, I'm pumped, man. Again, as you said, it's one of these things where it's not like exploiting a loophole. It's not like a get in now before everything changes. There's kind of just this time tested principles. Like if you know a little bit of copywriting, you can be really successful with this. And you gotta have some patience too, but mostly copywriting.
That's awesome. And so today, what are the main things that you're going to share with us? Are you going to talk about copywriting? Are you going to talk about how to find this list? What is all the main subjects that you want to share with us today?
Sure. So we're going to talk about three main things, and these are the three things that I kind of cover in my cold email webinars. And it's not necessarily, there are action steps within these, but we want to take it just to a little higher level so you understand why you would do one thing versus another thing. Because some of the stuff with cold email, it's very, very easy to just be like, fuck it, man, I'm just going to do a million emails right now, and I don't care about these little things. But thing is, if you ignore the smaller stuff, you ignore the things that you kind of have to have there, you're not going to get results. Very possible, or you're going to experience a lot of penalties, because technically, if you don't do things right, you can get into a lot of trouble with cold emailing, because there are laws out there. There are things that people can, bring it up to a higher authority and be like, this guy is a spammer. He needs to be fined, or he needs to do this or that. So you got to play nice. And by playing nice, we follow these rules, and we're able to continue to do what we do and make money. So we're kind of going to go through those three pillars of what I like to call a cold email machine, which is kind of my system that I've come up with. And, we'll talk specific tools that you need, specific approaches you should take, where you can find these lists, how you should present yourself to these guys, and where do you take them after that initial email. Can I kind of share how I do the funnel for that? So that's kind of the outline, I guess.
Fantastic. This gets me really excited, mainly because I am all about automation. How can I connect things where I'm not a funnel, I'm not a bottleneck. I can let this thing kind of run over the weekend, come to my desk on Monday morning, and get to work on follow-ups rather than prospecting.
Yeah,
and
exactly. That's the thing.
That gets me excited, man. So take it off, dude. I'd love to hear, what's pillar number one of email marketing?
So pillar number one that I like to talk about is, you've got to know your market. The analogy that I use for this in my webinars, which I think is really funny, but no one ever laughs. But I think I use the analogy of, you wouldn't try to sell human shoes to a duck, right? You're not going to try to do
Made
that.
me laugh.
Yeah, so there you go. Right. Beautiful, market tested, so good. You're not going to try to do that, because the thing is, you need to, and the reason why we talk about that is, it's twofold. You have to know, first of all, your niche. A lot of people, they start out digital marketing and they start doing this stuff, and they don't have a niche in mind. And I understand that. I tried so hard to be a generalist for a while. If you go back to the 6-Day Success group and look for my post, there's definitely a number of comments left by me defending the generalist mindset of, I'm just going to take whatever I can get. And, if you can, but the thing is, in order to create a system, in order to create something where you can, you don't have to spend so much time doing everything, and where you can kind of walk away, set up the automation like you mentioned, you need to have a niche. So that's what I recommend. You can, and the thing is, it doesn't even need to be. A lot of people agonize over picking a niche, especially with digital marketing stuff, because people think that they're married to it forever. You don't. You just pick a niche and you just go for it. My recommendation is always to go to Thumbtack, and just see what's on there. Personally, I love local service. I love local service businesses that are phone call based. That's kind of like what I like to go after, but it could be anything you want. So the first step of the first pillar here is to pick your niche. And then the second one might seem a little silly, but I want to just kind of go through it, because a lot of people, they get into when they get into running their own business, especially like a consulting-based business, like a lot of people out there, there's so much training out there on how to get clients, right? Once you've even visited, Ryan Deiss's website, you suddenly get retargeted with all these ads from him and from other people who are going after you because you went to his site, and there's so much stuff like make 100K with our new funnel business client thing. There's so much of that stuff out there. And it's, I'm not saying that none of it works. Actually, it all does work. You probably already heard me say that. All that shit works. But the thing is, it only works if you focus down on it. If that's the only thing that you're doing, you will see results from it. Where I see a lot of people failing and falling is they take a scattershot approach, right? They do a little bit of LinkedIn stuff, they do a little bit of Facebook stuff, they do a little bit of meetups, they do, a little bit of cold emailing that's not necessarily focused the way that I talk about doing it. They try to do all these different things, hedge their bets. People take the idea of like, oh, your average millionaire has like multiple 10 streams of income or something like that. And they think it's like, oh, well, you also need to have 10 streams of clients coming in. That's not necessarily the case. We talk about knowing your market, you know your niche, you understand your niche, know your prospecting method as well. I obviously am advocating for cold email. If you are not, you're watching this and you don't want to do cold email, I don't know why you're watching it, but if you are, that's fine. You don't have to do cold email, but you need, whatever you do choose to do, you need to like focus down on it and just work it until you get results. That was the biggest trap that I fell into just starting out, was I would do all these different things, to try to get clients, because, I had no patience, and I was just like, I was jumping from one thing to another, to another, to another. And then because I was spread so thin, I got no results. And then it's like, well, this stuff doesn't work. Nothing works. I'm going to quit I did that like multiple times because I walked away from it almost completely, where it was just like, I can't do this anymore because it's got no results. But if you pick your market and you pick your niche, if you pick your market and you pick your outreach method and you just stick with them, you work it until you get results, you're going to see, that's the way to do it. And, I would obviously, pick whatever niche you want. I would say, if you are in this trap of being scatterbrained, doing all these different things, trying to get clients and nothing seems like it's working, take a step back, find the one that you either have had a little bit of success with and scale it up, or if you have not had success with anything, I would encourage you to try cold email.
Yeah. So what I think is cool about this, there are a lot of strategies to find clients. Instagram marketing, using Snapchat, Facebook ads.
Yeah.
There are LinkedIn prospecting was obviously huge. And the thing is about all of that is you need to know, I think, first and foremost, where is your audience?
Yeah.
Right. Like that's, I love how you started with that, knowing your audience first, because for example, like if you're trying to target artists like painters and stuff like that, they're probably not going to be on LinkedIn. So if you tried LinkedIn prospecting for artists because you thought LinkedIn prospecting is the hot new trend, and it was just off base because that's not where your audience is. The same way that if your audience is over 50 years old, they're probably not going to be on Snapchat, probably not even going to be on Instagram.
No.
And so you got to really look at like, what is your audience doing? And here's what I think is so valuable about got is I think most people probably get their first email between like 12 and 15 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I got it like right at 12.
Yeah. So something around that age. And almost every business has it. And I think that it's not going to go away anytime soon.
No way.
I think that it's going to be at least 10 years, if not longer than that, where we'll start to maybe see replacements for email. And at that point, the same principles will apply. It's just the tactics are going to be different.
Yeah.
So I think that if you're just starting with anything right now, cold email marketing is the place to start, because it's where your audience is most likely going to be for anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, and I think you're not the first person to think that. Obviously, it's just so many people think that, but at the same time, it's, and everybody gets bombarded with cold emails every single day. And, this kind of goes into the next pillar of, writing an email that stands out. But like, actually, I guess we can just launch into it rather than me ranting about people. I can just go right into number 2. If that's all right, let's do more questions.
No, I'm good, man. Let's hear number 2.
Yeah, sweet. So the second pillar here, which kind of goes into what I was talking about, with the fact that there's so many people are doing cold email right now. You need to understand. You need to make sure that you're communicating the right message to your clients, or to your prospective clients, I should say. You need to make it very easy for them to get the information that they want. And when you do that, you are going to see a nice increase in response rate. So you have to figure that your average business owner, right? They don't have a lot of time, right? they are getting a ton of these cold emails every single day. We were just talking before the interview here that, if you've ever forgotten to hide your Whois information when you register a domain, you are, or I should say, if you work with GoDaddy, then it doesn't even matter if you hide it; they just sell your shit. So don't do GoDaddy. Go Namecheap all the way. Wherever it is, if you've ever registered a domain, you have gotten these emails from people who are just like, you bombard. Oh, your SEO is not great, or you could do better website. You get these kind of emails, and people just get bombarded with them. And there's two schools of thought with that. That shit, there's too many people doing this. There's no way I could possibly stand out. I'm not going to try. Or there's so many people are doing this. But they're all doing a shitty job. I'm going to rise above them and be different. So that's what you can get for, that's where we get into communicating the right message. So essentially it's writing a good email. And
dude, I'm laughing so hard right now because I just bought a domain on GoDaddy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what a scam. They're trying to upsell me for $7 to hide my information.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, dude, my email box.
Dude,
if I could show it to you right now, like, it's ridiculous.
It's bad. Yeah. This is turning to an infomercial for Namecheap, but Namecheap, man, they give you 1 free year of Whois Guardian, and then it's only another $2 for next year.
I'm going to take the liberty of sharing my screen real quick to show you what I'm talking about. So, like, this is exactly what we're talking about is bad.
Yep.
look at this. He pasted his name in here. You can tell because, it's different text.
Yeah, different font size.
Right. Weird spacing. Like, why does this guy actually think that he deserves my business? Mm-hmm. He didn't give me any value here. It's just, he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
This is bad. Look, we got other ones too. Get more traffic.
Yeah.
Comma. Dude, not even my name or whatever. Like, dear web owner, are you serious?
Like, that's what it is. You need to write an email that's good, that people like care about, or that's gonna, maybe not even care about, but like that's gonna, elicit a response. And my criteria for that, and I will share an email that I will share kind of the perfect opening email. It'll be, can we share resources on this?
Of course, man. Yeah. Go ahead, share your screen.
Awesome. I can do that too. I was just going to show it later. This is actually, let me find the thumbnail here. This is, where is this email here? Okay, cool. Let me do screen share my desktop here, number 2. Cool. All right. So you can see that?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So this is actually from my webinar that I do about cold email, but this is pretty much the exact email that I've been sending to people when we're talking about cold emailing and starting businesses. So this is really SEO focused, right? My when I send this to them, I want to be selling SEO, but this is really like such a really perfect email to send to people. So it's sort of, it's my sort of adaptation of like the first email that, I would read about that Rob sent to people, and I kind of put my own twist on it here. So, it's like, hey, first name, my name is Mike. I'm Mike. I know you're busy, but I noticed a couple of issues with your website that might explain why it's not generating more traffic and revenue. Can I send you some data on this? The data is free. All I ask in return is a chance to go over with you on a phone call when your schedule permits. If you're interested, reply back with a yes, and I'll get the info over to you. All right. The reason why this is a really great email is, first of all, it's very short, right? I'm not writing paragraphs here. It's just, it's obviously paragraphs, but it's not like a tome, it's not like a 1,000-word email here. All I say is that, the only thing about this email that is, about me, it's got, I'm Mike and I got my name. That's it. Right. And, it speaks to the fears of the business owner, in that most business owners are selfish folks. That's just kind of how it is. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. No fault. But the thing is, it speaks to their fears that, man, I'm not getting enough traffic on the website. I'm not getting enough revenue. And then so there, no matter what, there's a certain kind of business owner that no matter what is always going to be afraid that their website is not is not enough. It's not converting enough. It's not good enough. So you can kind of stoke that fear just a little bit, a little ethically poke it, to get some more information here about them and kind of get them to take some actions for you. And then, we make it very easy for that. So we kind of leave open the idea of, hey, you want to get on a phone call, go over this, like, let's talk about it a little bit, and then you close it out. You make it very simple for them to just say yes, right? All they have to do to get the information from me and for me to know that they're interested is just literally write me back a single word. I've gotten yeses, I've gotten sures, just like make it very, very easy. They don't have to you're not asking to get on a phone call right away. You're just moving them to the next step of the process here. And that's it. And, this is I did this and I wrote this before. I kind of knew more about micro commitments and things like that. Been going through Russell Brunson's funnel immersion thing this year. And, he talks a lot about micro commitments in your funnel and micro commitments in your marketing, that people who say yes to you one time, if you can get them to say yes once, they're much more likely to say yes again and again. So, you get them to say yes for a free report, right, about their website, then you can get them to say, the chances, you have a higher chance of getting them to say yes to get on a phone call, and then a higher chance of getting them to say yes to working with you. So that's kind of how we talk about, communicating the right message, making sure you're giving people the information that they want to read about, not like the examples that you just pulled up in your inbox there of people who are like, hey, we've done all this like super cool stuff, and we've done all these things. Do you want to do some of these things with us? Like that kind of framing when you're talking to prospects, it makes you seem like an asshole, I guess. It's the best way I could put it.
So true.
It's just like, I'm so cool. I've done all these things, and I'm extending this offer to you. Aren't you happy about that? You should be super pumped. And it doesn't work like that. So, that's sort of the second pillar here, is just to write a good email. And, this is just like kind of the framework that I go off of. Yeah. I play with stuff here. You can see this isn't even spelled. I have 2 yours in here. There's another typo that all I ask in return in the chance, like it doesn't even, I pulled this literally right out of my email and pasted it in here. So like, it's not even totally spelled correctly, but it still gets lots of replies back from people, cause it's talking about something that it's giving them the information that they want, or confirming a suspicion that they have that, I'm definitely not doing as good as I thought I was doing. So, I mean, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, totally. I think this is a really good template for any niche. And I feel like if it got niched down even further, it would speak to them. Let's say, for example, like if you put, bring up your screen again, how, with the email, I can see at the bottom where it's like, Mike W. online specialist. Yeah. If you put, let's say you were targeting chiropractors, online chiropractic specialist. Yeah. Or chiropractic online specialist. Yeah. And maybe it was a free report on something with chiropractic online, and it's like, one thing I found personally when I was niching down in the orthodontic niche is that they don't share information with each other because the people in their area are their competitors, right? So they are always trying to get an insight onto people around them. So if your first, response was, hey, are you an orthodontist, whatever, that I can send you a free report on your competitors in your local area. It's like that would pique their interest. Try and create some kind of irrefusable offer, but just saying yes, I love that idea. Yeah. Just a very simple response, and that lets you know, hey, they're qualified, they're interested.
Yeah, and that's and that goes into and this is something else that Rob talks about in his training that I've really taken to heart and kind of just like made it absolutely like this changed the game for me. And I don't know if he's gonna watch this, but like he's really great. Rob, in some of his emails, or his articles, he talks about the idea of having prospects self-select, so rather than, and that changed the whole thing for me. And I want to like drive that home for people as well, that if you can, I got stuck in the trap of, I was doing video audits and reports from scratch and emailing like 5 to 10 of them a day by hand, to businesses who could give a shit about me. I never heard back. I sent about 40 or 50 of those after like a mammoth week of work, like getting up at 4 a.m. and knocking out 5 hours of video audits that I would send out cold to people, and nobody would write back to me. When I kind of implemented this idea of self-selection that is amazing, and allowing them to qualify themselves to me, everything changed. So that's a really great idea. And and the thing is, like, again, this is a template email to go off of. You can like you said, you can kind of have the signature be very niche specific. You can make this for Facebook ads, you can do this for AdWords, you can do this for all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of things that you could kind of go into to create a great email. I've created a variation of this for Facebook ads. I kind of took this and combined it. If anybody out there is following Dan Henry, you probably know about the curious student method that he talks about in some of his webinars and in his group, about approaching businesses as if you're a student of Facebook ads and you want just a business to practice with. We were able to kind of take that framework, plug it into the cold email sort of world that we're living in right now, and blow that up. In terms of, just like I mentioned earlier, I have this like crazy case study from December about getting, I think it was three paid trial Facebook clients in the course of 6 days. Just by doing this kind of cold email stuff. So again, I can't hammer it home enough. You got to write a good email. You got to give people the information that they want, rather than what you think they want.
Dude, that is gold. If you guys didn't hear that, like, I think you need to rewind and listen to that again, because that is exactly, I think, what a lot of people miss the boat on. Giving them an offer that your audience actually wants, not what you think they want or what you want to offer them. Yeah. So strong, man. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So grab a screenshot if you want of the email. I'm just gonna stop the share, but I mean, I'll try to see. I'll see if I can give you guys the script. You can put it up in the video.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we'll put that in the files beneath this video. So you'll see beneath the video, there's a little PDF. Go ahead, download that. That is this template.
Sweet. Yeah. Move on to pillar 3, I guess.
Pillar 3.
Sweet. Number 3. Number 3 is the Germans do it. So I'll never make that mistake after watching Inglourious Basterds. I never will. All right. So pillar number 3 that we talk about here is, again, it's a little bit more of a high level. It might seem kind of silly, but again, take it to heart, use it. And now that if you've done step 1, pillar 1, you know your niche and you know your outreach method, right? Pillar 2, right? You have written a decent email. You know the information that your market wants, right? Tease them with it in the email, make it very simple for them to respond back, right? That's number 2. And then number 3, now that we have the right market, we have the right message, we got it nailed down here, the next step is to put it all together and develop a system out of it. Rather, a system that runs itself so you can actually kind of enjoy life, rather than, spending 20 hours a week prospecting when you should either A, be doing stuff for clients, or just, chilling. I don't know, living that digital nomad lifestyle.
Yes.
Gabe Rogemoser. At this moment, he is tearing it up in South Africa?
South Africa. Yeah, he's on a safari right now, hanging out with the giraffes.
That's so cool. All right. That's the dream, right? So do this stuff and you can be as cool as Dave. When we talk about developing a system out of it, a lot of people, when you're getting started with cold emailing, you're probably going to be tempted to do it by hand, or do it by hand, because possibly you want to do it by hand, but probably it's going to be a cost thing. And this I understand, especially coming from like no clients and nothing, to having clients and having a successful business. It's when you have no money and somebody says to go buy a $47 a month piece of software to run your cold email campaign, you're probably going to tell them that they're insane. You can tell me that because I'm about to tell you to go buy a $47 piece of software. But it's necessary. It's a worthy investment, because the thing is, if you do if you do 1 and 2 correctly and you build a system in number 3, you're going to make way more than $47 every month to run the system. So the linchpin of my particular system is I use a program called QuickMail, right? And QuickMail is it's essentially a cold email platform it's an emailing platform that is designed specifically for cold emailing, and it allows you to do a lot of really great, cool things with it in terms of follow-up emails, in terms of split testing, in terms of all these different things. And pretty much what you do with QuickMail is you can sign up. There's a free trial. You get 14 days. You get 2 weeks out of it. 14-day trial. You come in and you write out your entire cold email sequence. So not just that first email, but you want to write, start with a really good first email and then make variations of it, at least 3 steps, possibly 4 steps. Wait about 2 days in between each email, and you can set that all up manually in QuickMail so that you can, and then you can just kind of press play on the new emails, tell it to skip the weekends, and it's just going to send them out every single day. And it's very, very simple to do. It's really cool. It's a great software, but
Mike, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Tell me if this is the QuickMail software you're talking about.
That's it, baby.
Okay. So guys, this is quickmail.io. Go check it out. Free 14-day trial. Mike, do you have any affiliations with this?
I do not. I wish I did. I don't.
Yeah. Right. So he's telling you to use the software because it works, not because it makes them any money for you signing up. It is all about QuickMail being the best tool out there for generating leads on autopilot. Yeah. Go get this, guys.
Yeah. And the thing is, if it's $47 a month for their basic plan after the 2 weeks. And I know, again, that seems like a lot of money if you don't have it. And you can do this stuff by hand. This is not something where you need to have QuickMail, but there will be more time required of you if you do not have QuickMail. My advice, if you don't want to invest in the software to build the system here, is to use this free CRM plugin that I used back in the foundation days. It's still out there for Gmail, called Streak. And Streak is it's pretty much it's a free CRM. It hooks into your inbox, so you don't have to really leave it at all. They have a really, really great mail merge function where you can blast out X number of emails that however many emails you want, whatever. And it's cool to do. You just have to, whereas in QuickMail, you can set how many emails go out to which people at what times of the day. At Streak, you would just have to, instead of scheduling it to go out at 10:15, you'd have to go in at 10:15 on a Monday and select 20 prospects and do the mail merge. It'll take you like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. But and you're gonna have to respond. It's just more work to have to do that. And then and then the follow-ups and making sure that somebody who replied doesn't get a follow-up. It's doable, definitely doable. If people have questions about it, please reach out to me. I became a Streak ninja back in the day.
This is Streak here, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. And so how is this different than, for example, Boomerang?
So Boomerang, I only use Boomerang to do to bring emails back to me. I don't know if Boomerang does this kind of stuff as well. That's the only thing I use it for, is to return emails to me, so I don't forget to follow up. But Streak is you can do a whole ton with it. I only use it. I would only use it for the mail merge and to track which people I already emailed and which people I didn't email. But you can it's pretty much like HubSpot, but right inside of your inbox. And it doesn't I don't know. I found that HubSpot kind of gunks up the works for me, at least my workflow. But Streak is it's pretty efficient. I think anyway. And it also tracks emails. You can import a spreadsheet, of contacts and stuff like that. And it just, and it kind of follows you everywhere. So you can kind of get it anywhere you can log into your email account. And this is, it's a free way to run your account. It's a free way to run sort of your cold email machine if you don't want to invest in QuickMail.
And so how do you use these softwares on the strategy side? What is it that you're doing that makes it all work? Because just because you have the tool doesn't mean you know how to use the tool. So
Yeah.
what is it? What's the system in place that makes this thing go haywire?
Sure. I mean, the thing is, you need to have the rest of your funnel as well planned out. So it's not enough to just set up QuickMail or set up Streak and blast out the first emails, or have your whole follow-up sequence in place. You need to also have a system in place for getting people to listen to kind of get in touch with you and do this stuff. And I'm gonna share my screen again here, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. So this is sort of like the basic sketch of the funnel, right? You've got, it starts here with an email, right? You kind of get the email address. You blast out that form email. I probably stop using the term blast out, but you're sending that first form email to get people to respond back to you. And then, once people respond, you're going to send them, that free report or that free video or, whatever it is, that piece of value that you've kind of teased to them, you've promised to them, right? And then you're going to bring them to a phone call, and then you're going to bring them to sale. So this is the process here. This is kind of very, very simple, but what's not shown here, and I should probably add these to the presentation, is in between, you send the email, no responses from the form email, you follow up. All right, cool. They want the report. Sweet, send them the report. All right, and then you try to move them right to the phone call. They don't move right to the phone call. You follow up. Move them to the phone call. All right, do the phone call, and then however many phone calls it takes, right? Some sales processes, or sometimes the sales cycle is longer than just a single phone call. But you bring them, and then you just kind of follow up until you get the sale, or you don't. And this is kind of like what's possible with the cold email machine is to have this level of, you literally feed this machine emails on the one end, right? And with QuickMail, you can do it very simply where they just pay you. I mean, not pay you. You can just have it auto import from a spreadsheet. Like if you have a VA who scrapes emails for you, they just add them to the spreadsheet every single day at a certain time, and then QuickMail will import them automatically at any single time. And then it's just like, this just works, and then boom, you just get them in your inbox. So
that's awesome. Yeah, one of my first mentors back in the day, he would say, Austin, the fortune is in the follow-up. And so many people forget to follow up, whether it's on that first one, the phone call, or after they have an objection on the phone call to close the sale. And I think that if you guys are not following up, you're losing a lot of sales. So be sure to have that as part of your funnel.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like and that's the beauty, the wonder of QuickMail is the fact that it will follow up for you automatically. And so you don't have to, you don't have to worry about it. And it's, and this is the system here, everything is systematized, where you know what to do every single day to be able to grow your business, right? You don't have to worry about, like, you go out there, you have a VA scrape a list, right? Or you scrape a list. And this is where the emails start. You plug them into QuickMail, that form email goes out. So your first task of the day, it's not to add new, if it's a Monday, you add new contacts, right? But if it's a Tuesday, you don't add new contacts. Your first thing, all right, look at the reports. Or look at the responses. Which reports do I have to put together? What video audits do I have to put together? From that. All right. And then so to do that every morning at a certain time, from like 9 to 10, you do your reports or whatever. And then boom, all right, what phone calls do I have today? Who do I have to reach out to for a phone call to make sure the phone calls happen? It's one of these things where I think, it's one of these things where you don't get bogged down in trying to figure out what the heck you actually need to do. It's simple because you don't get caught up trying to find all the email addresses, trying to find everybody's contact information. And I think this is where a lot of people get dropped off, or a lot of people drop off when it comes to client getting and, kind of getting momentum going in their business. Is they get caught up here in the middle at the start of things, and then overwhelmed by the fact that you're at this vantage point, right? And then you're looking, holy crap, like this is a long cycle. I can't, there's so much stuff to do. But 1 and 2, these are taken care of. So all you got to do is this. And, from a report to, from somebody who's interested in at least hearing your message to a sale, that's not a huge leap, or it's not as huge of a leap as having a stone cold list of emails and having to look at the sales and be like, shit, I got to do 50 of these by hand today. And then I got to do all these reports, or you have no reports and you feel like garbage because you're like, this guy said it would work and it's not working. I have no reports. Got no patience on this stuff. And then, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm going. It's just one of these things where like having a system is just very nice. You just can just kind of like,
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And, I'm big on automation and delegation. Right now I'm in the process of hiring my first personal VA and, to help me do a lot of that kind of stuff. So I think that this is the future of email marketing. I think that you're on the cutting edge of this stuff and obviously it works. So one of my biggest questions as you walk through this thing is, where do I get my list? How do I find my niche's list of people to put into this funnel?
Yeah. So when it comes to lists, there are sort of two schools, or I don't know, there are, I shouldn't say two, there's multiple approaches. The first one, the one that I've had the most success with and that I recommend for people who don't really have a budget right now, I would recommend to go out there. And so once you have your niche down, your market, the industry you want to work with, go out there and find associations for them. So go to, if you want to work with dentists or something, search for both national, state, and regional associations. And these are going to be, typically, I mean, I've noticed this happening because, over the last few years, a lot of associations and membership organizations for professionals, they've started to close off their membership list to the public. So you can see names, but you can see names and websites, but you can't get contact information. You can't get phone numbers. So a lot of people have started to do that, but that's mostly focused on the national level. The state level, like your New York Dental Association or your New Jersey Dental Association, I believe they are probably going to follow suit in the next couple of years. We're going to see it probably total shutdown. But right now, this is February 2017. We're doing this. If you search for local, for state level associations, you can still get lucky more often than not, to be able to pull information from there. And the thing is, you also need to dig too a lot, and to just find this stuff. It is out there. If you dig long and hard enough, you will find these lists. You just have to be persistent about it. It's definitely not going to be on the first page of Google. You have to get in there and really find it. I've spent many, many hours digging through association lists and doing this stuff. It's fun. The other thing I would check out, if you don't have a budget to buy a list, is to go out there and go to your local Chamber of Commerce website. I know we were talking about, niching down, right? Have a niche, read in a way. Being a regional specialist in what you do is kind of a niche as well. Like you're the New York, guy who does whatever, or you're the person from Queens who does Queens Facebook ads or something like that. There is value in doing that as well. Especially if it's your own hometown. My sort of like pro tip that I've found, because before marketing, I worked as a local journalist and, doing a lot of like local business stuff, like coverage for their news things. And local business people like to talk to they prefer to work with other local people. So if you are local to, a town that has, some possibilities in terms of clients, or even regionally, even if you're from the same state, if you can just talk knowledgeably about it, like, I don't live in Rochester, I live in New York City, but, I could talk to, oh yeah, I've been up in Rochester. Yeah, it's cold up there. Huh? You just kind of, that sort of like regional Chamber of Commerce, local Chamber of Commerce, they typically don't have their membership listing protected, and you can typically grab email addresses from there. So that's where I'd recommend to start. Association lists and Chamber of Commerce lists for cold emailing on no budget. Now, if you want to blow it up and you want to invest a little bit, some people are not super down with buying lists, and I I was not for a while, but I've started to kind of wade into it and try it out. And it is an effective way if you do have a budget. You can go to InfoUSA and get a list in any niche. I think pretty much any niche you could ever imagine, in the United States. And you can, pay, I think I paid $90, $100 for a list of 250 chiropractors to run a Facebook ads cold email campaign to, just as an experiment. And it's
this here, right?
Yep, those are the guys. But yeah, so you can go out there and they have everything you want on there that you need. And their support is really great. I mean, again, it's if you have a budget to play with, it's not a bad idea. Just in terms of your own time. But if you do have a VA to be able to scrape you, okay, so I guess there's Grab membership list sites, there's InfoUSA, and then there's having a VA do it for you. And that's the other thing that I would recommend as well. That we had that for a while here. VA who was working, I think he was only working like 5 hours a week or something, and I gave him some like very, very specific criteria to find me. Like it was landscapers in a certain county in New York who were also advertising with Google AdWords. Very, very, very. I mean, it was a very specific thing, but I just had him do stuff for me, and he just pulled the contact info in. And I guess another question somebody would probably have is about how many emails to send a day. So this VA, he was getting me about 10 to 15 emails every day. And I wouldn't recommend sending more than 20 emails a day. When you're first starting out doing this, you kind of want to get your email server client guy used to, I recommend Gmail, of course, but you want to get it used to seeing you sending that volume of email. Because if you go from sending like 1 or 2 to sending like 2,000, there's going to be some dissonance there and you're going to end up in trouble. So just kind of tying in that last question, I'm pretty sure someone can ask it.
So it reminds me similar to like when we do Facebook ads, you don't want to go from spending $10 a day to $1,000 a day overnight. You want to kind of increase the scale so it doesn't look out of the norm.
Yeah.
It doesn't, pull off the trigger of their bots. So what is like a normal percentage of increase? For example, on Facebook ads, we normally do like 10% increase a day is kind of how we do it. How about you? What do you think that a scalable way to grow the quantity of emails that you send a day?
Yeah, I would do it. I would keep it at about 10 to 20 a day for maybe the first 2 weeks. And then, you can kind of scale that up by, 10 or 15% every week. I mean, it's also whatever you feel comfortable with, because it is, you are taking a risk as well. It's not like, it's not like there's a certain number, at least that I'm aware of, that once you hit that, if you have a certain percentage increase from 1 week to the next, that'll trigger something for Google and you'll be screwed. I don't know if a number like that exists. It might. But in my experience, the way to do it would be to just kind of like slowly ramp it up. Cause I do my things on a weekly cycle. So I would do like a 10% increase 1 week and then maybe another 10% increase. And then, if I felt really, really confident, maybe I would double the amount from that, just to see, because I have had email accounts banned and deleted in the past, which was no fun, because it like screws, especially if you're actually like having some success with it, which if you're really aggressive and you have a good list, you will. But it's not an experience I would want to wish on anybody. So I would just kind of urge caution, at least in the beginning.
Now, what are ways that somebody can avoid getting banned from any search or any of these, email listers?
Yeah. The two biggest ones are, as we said, don't send a crazy amount of volume, and especially in the beginning. That's the first one. And the second one would be, make sure your emails are good. Check them, this is the thing. If you have a ton of emails that are bouncing back, if you have a lot of bounced emails and you're sending a lot of emails, those two together, you're screwed. That's it. Because that's what happened to me. I had a list that was pretty decent, but it was not. There was a bunch of emails in there that all bounced back, sort of, several days in a row, and I was sending 60 a day on a brand new email, I would not recommend that. And I got the account banned like right away. Or within 6 days. That was my thing. Yeah.
So when you say like they bounced back, that means it's a wrong email. Like it doesn't really even exist.
Yeah, it's the wrong email, or it's an old email. They're gone now. There are different services out there that you can use to verify your emails. I know that QuickMail has an integration where I don't even remember what the service is right now off the top of my head. I know they have an integration with it where you can verify emails. If you are not looking to spend money, you can do this by hand. My kind of rule of thumb when I was doing it by hand was any email that's like a staff alias, like a contact @ or an info @ I would throw it out. And then what I would do is I would check each email by hand using Reportive in Gmail, which is a free plugin that pretty much allows you to check if an email address is real, because it will pull up the LinkedIn account and social media accounts connected to a specific email address. So it's supposed to be one of these things where you can kind of get more info about people. But if you're a cold email marketer like myself, you can use it to kind of reverse check if an email address is actually being used by a person. So, and then you just kind of can use it from there. That's,
yeah, that's really cool, man. What would be your recommendation on it? Does it even matter to have a specific front end of a domain? Like for example, Austin at jointhealliance.co versus sales at jointhealliance.co.
I would say if you are doing cold emailing, have it be your name.
Okay.
The thing is, a lot of people would say, you can do the route of, having like an @companyname.com email address or .co or whatever. You can do that. That's fine. I think it's a pretty reasonable rate to get that set up with Google and their G Suite thing. But the thing is, you also don't have to do that. You can do just a straight up free Gmail account. What I would do for that is I would do, your name companyname @gmail.com. And that gets, I have not seen a crazy drop off in response to that, one versus the other. I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of a difference, but it's not been enough for me to be like, oh shit, I should actually like really pay attention to this because this is a big issue. It's a very small one, especially if you have the follow-ups in place. Some people might, if it's a Gmail, they won't reply the first time. Maybe they'll reply the second time or the third time, versus with the company name, they might reply the first time. But that would be my recommendation, is to go with a name at something, but it doesn't have to be your company name.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool, man. So, how has this system worked for a lot of other people? What is making this really, I guess, what results have you seen personally, and then also from students of this program? What has been, some of the great testimonials you've gotten out of this?
Sure. Yeah. So for me personally, if you guys are in 6K, you might've seen me talk about the 6K Success Bootcamp. And this is where a lot, I was doing this sort of in my own business, and I wasn't thinking about like, I'm going to try to help other people do it. I just thought everybody was kind of doing this already. But that sort of allowed me, got the kind of encouragement from Dave at the mastermind in October, like, that's really cool, man. You should like try to put this together in something. And that's when I started to package it together into a system. But prior to that, so doing that is kind of like pushed me to experiment and like try different things. So my biggest, I guess sort of the flashiest success story I can tell you about how it's worked for me is in December of this year, the week before Christmas. This started, I think it was December 15th is when I started to do this. We were going to do a relaunch of the boot camp, which is essentially me walking step by step every single thing about the cold email system here that we're talking about, along with accountability and stuff. And I decided, I'm going to run something that's fast and dirty here because I want to try out, I want to be able to give a new case study to people about how well this stuff works. And so we took, again, a variation on Dan Henry's Curious Student email with Facebook ads. And, because Facebook ads are really easy to sell. And we had, I have a guy who was really, really helpful with Facebook ads. So I don't actually do any of the work. I just do the selling. And we put this cold email campaign together. Literally it was 2 emails. It was 2 emails. I went out and I got, what did I do? I bought a list from Info USA, and so that was $90, $99. It was 250 emails. We put that together. We blasted out this cold email thing, and I made a brand new Gmail to do it. And it took 6 days. We were sending between 60 and 100 emails a day. And these were just like the new emails, like not even including the follow-ups. This was the first template, we're sending this crazy stuff out there, right? And in that time, for 6 days, the week before Christmas, I want to emphasize that this is the week before Christmas, when you don't do business in December, right? It's before Christmas. We were able to sign 3 trial Facebook ads clients at $200 a pop for a trial month with us. And then, I started this on a Friday, and then by the following Thursday, I came into, my office and, I can't get into my Gmail. What's that about? Oh, your account's been deleted because of bad practices. So, we played it fast and loose, but we were able to make $600 for, and, getting 3 clients set up, who we're working with now. We weren't able to keep, not everybody wanted to stay on at the full rate, but that's three trial clients for Facebook ads in 6 days, the week before Christmas. Like,
wow.
That, if that doesn't speak to the power of cold email, I just think that's
huge.
It's huge because that's, and the thing is, like, I have like 1.5 million things that I do. So I had, I didn't get it started back. Like if that was the only thing I was working on at the time, I just thought it was going to be a quick one-off thing. Like, oh, haha, lol. Like, we got 1 client out of it, but I was doing like hours of phone calls with people. The thing is, like, it was 3 that got signed. There were more people interested as well.
Yeah.
And I lost.
So you now have people in the pipeline.
Yeah. And then I lost it all because the email address got deleted. So, and I don't remember who they were.
So do you think that learning from that lesson, maybe there'd be a best practice of saving all of the emails that have responded?
Yeah, there was definitely a better way to do that. I would say if you are talking to somebody, I give people permission to be a little bit fast and loose. I always approve of, let me just see if I can break this. And if I break it, all right, cool. Then I'll know how to fix it.
Yeah.
I always, do that. But, if you're going to do that, take some steps to make sure that you can protect the emails and the conversations that are already happening in your thing. Like, what I should have done is CC my actual company email address on every interaction, but I didn't.
Yeah. That's a good point right there. I like that one.
Yeah. So that's something that I would recommend. Learn from my mistakes, but that's the power. You can literally go out there and do this cold email stuff to solve. Selling Facebook ads with a cold email is just like boom. It's a slam dunk right now. And in terms of success for people, I've taught this to, so as I mentioned, this is kind of the framework of the 6K Success Bootcamp program. Which I'm not sure when we're going to do that again, but the 6K Success Bootcamp program, the biggest success that's come out of that, we've had about 5 guys come through there. But the biggest success was that of Kevin Fairbanks. If you guys have seen Kevin in the group,
love Kevin.
He's a guy. He's fucking killing it out there. But I taught him this system, and everybody else in the group there. And he pulled a list of Chamber of Commerce emails from his local area. I think he's up in Syracuse, New York, or in the area there. Forgot it wrong, Kevin. I'm sorry, man. So he's from upstate, like way upstate, and he was able to, within the course of, I believe it was 2 weeks, 10 days, really, really, really fast turnaround time, prospected a local company, sent them a video audit, and was able to sign them to a $2,000 a month SEO contract or SEO retainer, plus a $500 setup fee. And he got, I think it was free kickboxing classes or something like that, because it was like a gym. So he it was great. Like to get in the boot camp, then it was $497, and he made like 5 times that, whatever it is, like right 2 weeks in, like boom.
Dude, that's awesome. Kevin, way to go, man.
Yeah. So that's that's just the biggest success right now. We've got some guys in there, doing it right now. And the thing is, with this stuff, you need to just continue to work it. You will, it's entirely possible that you will get lucky in that first week and just be like, whoa, I got a great client. Like this, I just made like $4,000. I'm with like 3 clients here. That's totally possible to do. But that won't always happen. You get into cold emailing what you get out of cold emailing what you put into it. So, if you are consistent with it, and that's why, again, I say develop a system, because if you need to think about doing it every day, you're not going to do it. But if you put the system in, you get quick mail, you're good. You set it up, you set it up one time, and then all you need to do is spend 5 minutes with it every week, putting new emails in, and then you're all set.
I think that's really cool. I'm a big component of matching up a Facebook ad campaign with an email sequence.
Yeah.
I like being able to do that. And so I feel like you could get a lot of great results using your cold email campaign, downloading the successful replies, and then uploading that as an audience targeting on Facebook for just retargeting.
That was what I was just going to say that. Like, that's something that I haven't even played with that, but I would love to play with it because it seems like such an amazing thing to do. I'd love to. Maybe I'll play with that this week, and we'll do another one of these next month. I'll tell you how it goes.
Yeah, man. I think that'd be awesome. Like, if you can tell your story across, between email and Facebook and other points, even if, let's say, they haven't responded, or like you could have it as like a follow-up ad saying, hey, I'd love to still hop on that phone call and help you out there.
Yeah. Or something where, and I was talking with Jamil the other day about, some course-related stuff. And he told me about this thing with Facebook, like the daily active reach, where you can just have it set up where you're not really going for conversions or anything. You just kind of have your ad show up in front of people once a day. So if you have a list of a couple hundred people, you run a daily active reach campaign over the course of a week. People get used to they see your face in the ad, or they see your name, and then all of a sudden they get an email from you. It's like, oh, well, all right, well, then I'm sure I'd love to actually play with that. Maybe I'll play with it.
That could be cool. Yeah, that's bonus material.
Take it to the next level.
Awesome. Well, Mike, as we wrap up here, what are any ending comments that you can maybe give somebody thinking about using email marketing for the first time, and they're debating between this and LinkedIn or any other prospecting methods? What encouraging advice can you give them to just getting started?
I would say, I guess encouraging advice is, encouraging advice, or why they should do cold email?
Both.
Okay, cool. Why you should do cold email is because of the scale. That's the biggest thing that I can say is, you can, if you get started with this stuff, and I'm in the process now of scaling mine, but I can kind of see, the end of the thing. I'm at the point where I know how many emails it takes to get on a phone call with, if I, out of 50 emails, if I'm selling this, I'll probably get on a phone call with this many people. Once you kind of, everyone talks about, I can see it right behind you, know thy numbers and obey them. Once you can get to the point of your cold emailing campaign where you do know thy numbers, and you can just scale to the moon. It's hard to do that with, and what's also rare about cold emailing is that it's just as accessible to people, versus, if you get started with Facebook ads, and where with numbers and things like that, it's hard to, kind of know, it's hard to know your numbers because you're still learning a platform as well. With cold email, we've all done emailing, we've all sent an email before, and we can take it so far because it's one of these things that's easy to learn but hard to master, I guess. And it's you can scale it up and be an expert and be like crazy ninja dude and do all this stuff, or you can just be a new consultant guy and get started with it. Just hack it together.
I love that, man. Anybody can do this. So if you're thinking about getting started with email marketing, you can do this. It's not rocket science. It's much easier even than Facebook ads or any of these other automations that are out there. I think that this is a really powerful starting place.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's good. And guys, if you got questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Yeah. What are the best ways to reach out to you, Mike?
Best ways, right now I've got, you can find me on Facebook. Always Facebook Messenger is good. I'm Mike Wu. I'm sure you guys have seen me in there, and I'll get tagged in this. So you can find me on Facebook, Mike Wu. Send me a friend request. We'll talk. You can hit me up on email, mike@seoyad.com. I'm also kind of in the process of turning this teaching about cold emailing into like an actual like course product support thing. So there'll be an email for that, I'm sure also, but I don't know right now what that'll be. So, just find me on Facebook, find me send me an email. Those are probably the best ways to do it.
Awesome. Well, hey, Mike, thanks so much for coming on the show today. This has been another great episode with the Entrepreneur Alliance. And I look forward to see you on the inside, man.
Yeah, dude, it's a good place to be.